Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Science Hub. My name is Kalpit, and today we are going to learn about password cracking.
So, model objective is what is password cracking, password security, system password cracking, tools and methods for system password cracking, application password cracking concepts, tools and methods for application password cracking, types of password attacks, common mistakes while making your password, and other tools.
Before moving to password cracking, first learn what does a password mean. A password is a string of characters for authentication and login to a computer, web applications, softwares, files, network, or mobile phones. It can comprise of small letters, capital letters, numbers, symbols, and space. Now, what is password cracking? Password cracking is a term used to describe the penetration of a network, system, or resource with or without the use of tools to unlock a resource that has been secured with a password. It is one of the oldest hacking arts. Every system must store passwords somewhere in order to authenticate users. And in order to protect these passwords from being stolen, they're encrypted. Password cracking is the art of decrypting the passwords in order to recover them or for malicious purposes. Now let's see how to create a secure password. First, don't create a shorthand password. Second, don't use birth date, phone number, real name or company name. Third, it should be easy to remember but hard to guess. Fourth, don't use working or private email for every website registration. Fifth, keep changing your password at regular intervals. There can be several reasons for password cracking, such as unauthorized access, to recover forgotten password, or a penetration testing step. Let's move on to types of password attacks. There are various types of password attacks such as dictionary attack, brute force attack, rainbow table attack, phishing, social engineering, malware, offline cracking, and guessing. Number 1, dictionary attack. When conducting a dictionary attack, a password cracker searches each word in the dictionary for the correct password. Here, dictionary means a file containing most commonly used passwords. Password dictionaries exist for a variety of topics and combinations of topics like politics, movies, and music groups. Number 2, brute force attack. In brute force attack, a password cracker uses a brute force tool which tests all the possible combinations of predetermined length until it finds the right combination accepted by the computer system. Number 3, phishing attack. What can be the easier way to hack than asking the user for his or her password? A hacker sends a phishing email to the user which leads the unsuspecting reader to a fake online banking, payment, or other website in order to log in and let the user type the password. Why bother going to the trouble of cracking the password when the user will happily give it to you anyway? Number 4, social engineering. Social engineering takes the whole ask the user concept outside of the inbox that phishing tends to stick with and into the real world. A favorite of the social engineer is to telephone an office posing as an IT security tech guy and simply ask for the network access password. Number 5, SQL injection. Before going on to SQL injection attack, first let us know what is SQL. The full form of SQL is Structured Query Language. SQL is a query language that was designed to manage data stored in relational databases. You can use it to access, modify, and delete data. Many websites and web applications store all the data in SQL databases. To make an SQL injection attack, an attacker must first find SQL injection vulnerability and then exploit it. A web page or web application that has an SQL injection vulnerability uses such user input directly in an SQL query. The attacker can create input content. Such content is often called a malicious payload and is the key part of the attack. After the attacker sends this content, malicious SQL commands are executed in the database, which can let the attacker see user IDs and passwords of people. Number 6, rainbow attack. The rainbow attack is based on the cryptanalytic time-memory trade-off technique. Cryptanalytic time-memory trade-off is a method that requires less time for crypt analysis. It uses already calculated information stored in memory to crack a code such as a password. In a rainbow attack, a password hash table called a rainbow table is created in advance and stored into memory. This rainbow table is a table of password hashes
created by hashing every possible password and variation thereof to be used in a rainbow attack to recover a plain text password from a captured ciphertext. This attack reduces the time required to find complex passwords, but it will not work on all passwords. Number 7. Guessing techniques. Many passwords can be guessed either by humans or by sophisticated cracking programs armed with dictionaries and other users' personal information. For example, blank password, the word password, passcode, admin and the derivatives, the user's name or login name, the name of the significant other or their loved ones, their birthplace or date of birth, automobile license plate number, a simple modification of one of the preceding such as suffixing a digit or reversing the order of letters and so on. The 10 common mistakes while creating a password which mostly people do are leaving passwords blank or unchanged from default value, using the same letters as the word password, using a favorite movie star name as the password, using a spouse name as a password, using the same password for everything, writing passwords on post-it notes, pasting a list of passwords under the keyboard, storing all passwords in an Excel spreadsheet on a PDA, writing all passwords in a personal diary or a notebook, giving the password to someone who claims to be the system administrator. Now let's move to system password cracking. Passwords for system software are created to prevent access to system files and other secured information that is used during a system's boot process. For example, boot manager file. There are several ways to access a system by cracking these passwords as discussed below. Number 1. Bypassing the BIOS password. BIOS is short for Basic Input-Output System. BIOS manufacturers provide a backup password that can be used to access the BIOS setup if the password is lost. The passwords that manufacturers provide are case sensitive. If a particular backdoor password does not work, then various case sensitive combinations of the password should be tried. The manufacturer's documentation must be read before trying the backdoor passwords because BIOS combinations will lock the system completely if the password is typed wrong 3 times. Number 2. Removing the CMOS battery. CMOS is short for Complementary Metal Oxide Semiconductor. A battery attached to the motherboard buffers the CMOS settings. If the battery is removed and replaced after waiting 20 to 30 minutes, the password will reset itself. Some manufacturers back up the power to the CMOS chipset using a capacitor. So if removing and replacing the battery after 30 minutes does not work, replace the battery after at least 24 hours. Some CMOS batteries are soldered onto the motherboard. Trying to remove a soldered CMOS battery may damage the motherboard and other components. To clear the CMOS settings by removing the battery, follow these steps. You can here pause the video and go through all these steps. Number 3. Changing the jumper settings. So, what does a jumper mean? In electronics and particularly computing, a jumper is a short length of conductor used to close, open or bypass part of an electronic circuit. They are typically used to set up or configure printed circuit boards such as the motherboards of computers. The process of setting a jumper is often called strapping. By adjusting the jumpers or dip switches on a motherboard, all custom settings including the BIOS passwords will be cleared. The location of these jumpers or dip switches on the motherboard varies, so refer to the system's documentation. The jumpers and dip switches can sometimes be found on the edge of the motherboard next to the CMOS battery or near the processor. On a laptop computer, the dip switches are usually found under the keyboard or in a compartment at the bottom of the laptop. Some manufacturers may label the jumpers and dip switches as one of the following: clear, clear CMOS, CLR, CLR PWD, pass WD, password or PWD. To reset CMOS using jumpers or dip switches, follow these steps. You can pause the video here and go through all these steps. Tools for system password cracking. There are various tools to crack system passwords. Number 1. Windows XP 2000 NT Key Generator. The Windows XP 2000 NT Key Generator recovers most passwords and resets the domain administrator password for Active Directory domain controllers directly from a bootable CD-ROM. Number 2. CMOS PWD. CMOS PWD decrypts passwords for the following BIOS types:
Acer or IBM BIOS, AMI BIOS, AMI WinBIOS 2.5, Award, Compaq, Packard Bell, etc. Number 3. ERD Commander. ERD Commander 2005 directly boots system into a Windows-like repair environment from a CD, giving complete access to the system. It is network features allowing data to be accessed and moved to and from the system. Number 4. Active@password changer. It is a DOS-based solution designed for resetting local administrator and user password on Windows XP, Vista 2003-2000 NT systems. Now let's see application password cracking. Passwords for application software are created to prevent access to specific program files. There are several ways to access that files by cracking these passwords as discussed following. Tools for application password cracking are: Number 1. Office Password Recovery Toolbox. Office Password Recovery Toolbox is another tool for recovering passwords for Office documents including Word, Excel, Outlook and Access files. Number 2. Distributed Network Attack. Distributed Network Attack or DNA utilizes the unused processing power of multiple machines across the network to decrypt passwords. In this attack, the DNA server is installed in a central location where machines running the DNA client can access it over the network. The DNA server coordinates the attack, assigning small portions of the key search to machines distributed throughout the network. The DNA client will run in the background, only taking unused processor time. Number 3. PasswordKit. PasswordKit combines more than 25 password recovery programs into one single package, including crackers for Office, Windows 2003, XP 2000 NT, Lotus, Notes, WinRAR, WinZip, Access, Outlook, Acrobat, Quicken, QuickBooks, WordPerfect, VBA and more. Number 4. Accent Keyword Extractor. Accent Keyword Extractor compiles dictionaries from words that it can find on the web and then uses these for a dictionary attack. After loading a web page, it will make a list of words on that page and then follow all links on the page to look for more words. Number 5. Advanced Zip Password Recovery. Advanced Zip Password Recovery cracks password for zip files, including self-extracting archives. It is a brute force cracker that can check 15 million passwords per second. For rule-based attacks, advanced zip password recovery can be customized according to password length, character set, and various other options. Number 6. PDF Password Crackers. Crack PDF, AppCom PDF Password Cracker, and Advanced PDF Password Recovery. Number 6. PDF Password Crackers. Crack PDF, AppCom PDF Password Cracker, and Advanced PDF Password Recovery can all be used to access password protected Adobe PDF files. Other tools for password cracking are: Number 1. Kane-Enable. Kane-Enable recovers network stored passwords using various techniques such as network packet sniffing, dictionary attacks, brute force attacks, encrypt analysis attacks. Number 2. LCP. LCP audits and recovers user account passwords in Windows NT 2000, XP and 2003. It searches for attacks in the operating system and fixes and recovers forgotten passwords. LCP can import account information from the following resources: local computer, remote computer, .sam file, .lc file, .lcs file, pwdump file, and sniff file. LCP can recover passwords using dictionary attacks, brute force attacks, or hybrid attacks. Number 3. SID and User. The SID and User tool can recover the SID for a given username or vice versa for Windows NT, 2000, XP and 2003 systems. Number 4. John the Ripper. John the Ripper is a fast and free password cracking and auditing tool available for Unix, Windows, DOS, BOS and OpenVMS. Number 5. Crack. Crack is a Unix password guessing tool designed to crack weak passwords. It uses very little memory and runs in the background using the brute force method. Its API allows for easy integration with arbitrary password formats, and it has been tested on Solaris, Linux, FreeBSD, NetBSD, OSF and Ultrix systems. Number 6. Brutus. Brutus is a brute force password cracker that can find passwords of HTTP, POP3, FTP and Telnet servers. It builds 60 connections at a time and is available for Windows operating systems. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section. Bye.